Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And in Brexit England, it seems that Cruella de Braverman took herself and went over to Rwanda on the weekend with a load of far right media like GB News, The Telegraph, The Times, The Mail, couple others, right? But not one left-leaning newspaper or TV station. Right? She didn't even take the BBC, right? Because that's where I tell you what really gets me about these people is this, right? Is when you suggest that their words can be similar to what was going on in the 1930s Germany or bloody Nazis, right? Actually, in saying that, right, you should have just said 1930s Britain, because it was exactly the same thing. Don't bring them people here, right? They're illegal. They're migrants. Don't want them here. While they're being put into, right, gas chambers, and that's what the people of Britain were saying. So anyway, but going over there and not taking any left lean, right? That is similar to what Adolf Hitler would have done, shut down, right? Because that's what you do, And it seems to always be the far right, right, that want to shut down the media, right, so that they can just have media that as Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping will have, or even Kim Jong Un will have, right? Because that is what this move was like, what she done on the weekend, going over there, right, with only newspapers, right, that are going to write favourable stories about her, and TV stations that are obscure TV stations that are only going to do good news stories about her visit to Rwanda. Going over and doing all of that, right, that is just so similar to what a real dictator would do. You know, it just amazes me, right, what the Tories are allowed to actually get away with. I mean, it's just, it doesn't cease to amaze me nowadays, right, how far the people of this country will allow the Tories to take it further and further and further down. And welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages. And special thanks to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up. So thank you so much for that. I'll go for all your messages. I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. And welcome to the spring equinox. I think today is the equinox. So I think that's 12 hours of sunshine and 12 hours of night, I believe. I think anyway, But Donald Trump, we're going over to America. Donald Trump may be arrested, I believe, tomorrow, because I've seen them starting putting up barriers and all that outside Trump Tower, and I'm like, whoa, this shit's for real. So he's been announcing it, and he's asked for protest. He's asked for his supporters to come down and protest. And we all saw what happened when his supporters went down and protest last time. They caused an insurrection. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, because I don't know whether or not Donald Trump. I think he might be arrested, and he may well be charged. You know what they should do? They should put his ass on remand. That would be funny. There is an international warrant out for Vladimir Putin, and once again, Britain and America, right? Well, anyway, first of all, they don't recognise the international war crimes anyway. They don't recognise that court anyway, the Russians. But guess who else doesn't recognise it? The Americans don't recognise it either, right? Because the last time I think people from the international court went after some Americans, right, America went after them. I can't remember the exact circumstances because I just thought about that. Can't remember the exact circumstances, but I know America went after them the last time and sanctioned and put some sanctions and all that on a lot of those people, right? So but anyway, this international warrant's out for Vladimir Putin, which obviously limits his travel. He can't really travel outside of Russia. Now, I mean, he can only travel to a country that doesn't recognise that court. So it'll be a country that's friendly to him, where he can travel to. He might be able to go, maybe, I don't know, maybe China or somewhere like that, because they probably don't recognise it either. But So it's only if he's got to step outside Russia, or there'd have to be a new leader in Russia, and they'd have to hand him over. Which I don't know whether or not they would do that. But you see, Britain and America now to take the moral high ground on this. It's just not, because even on Russian TV they'll be reporting. Listen, how dare these people put a warrant out for Vladimir Putin after what they done in Iraq, or Syria, or Libya? How dare, right? When you've got war criminals walking amongst your own population. You know that if you was to go up to Tony Blair, right, and put your hand on him and say, "I'm you're under arrest," do you know you get there's a website where you get, I think it's about £5,000. Might even be more than that. It might be slightly less, or it might be more than that. But yeah, there's a website dedicated to that. If you go and put your hand on Tony Blair, and because he's seen to be a war criminal, Blair and Bush, right, are the two biggest war criminals in the world. Those two cowards murdered 750,000 people in Iraq. Okay, but yet for all, they want to, these are the same people that are trying to hold judgment on Vladimir Putin. And I say, well, you know something, yeah. And the thing is, right, if you mention this to people, people are like, oh, well, look at you, right? You're sticking up for Russia. What are you sticking up for Russia for? Okay, you see, that, right, is their defence against the fact that they're a bunch of hypocrites. Because now, right, they're asking us to say, well, you know something, yeah, the warrant is right to be out for Vladimir Putin. Absolutely, it's right. But it's all, Tony Blair and George Bush should have also been in The Hague. And that is what the problem is. Because now, I agree that Vladimir Putin should be in The Hague. Of course I do. Absolutely. Right? Because he had no right doing what he done. Right? But also there are Western leaders that need to be there as well. And they're never going to go there. Just in the same way that Vladimir Putin's probably never going to go there. And petrol bombs and rocks have been thrown at police after they were searching Imran Khan's house in Pakistan. What's wrong with some of these world leaders? Why are these people such fucking criminals? Right, this is the thing. Right, every single, so many world leaders, right, if they're not fucking criminals, right, they are incompetent. Right, just like, I don't know how. I have no clue how this works. Boris Johnson will be grilled by MPs this week as to whether or not he misled Parliament. See what I'm saying about politicians, right? Especially world leaders, right? Who just get themselves. That is Trump, Putin, right? Khan, Johnson, straight like that. All of them. None of these people should have ever been anywhere near power. That's what the problem is. Boris Johnson has got a 50-page dossier to release all about his innocence over Partygate. You know what? Boris Johnson's an arse. Boris Johnson's an arse, and he doesn't deserve any of our time anymore, right? Because he should be put out to pasture. And let's hope that these MPs give him at least a 10-day suspension, so his constituents can have their choice whether or not they want him or not. And UK schools and hospitals, have been made with a product, right, a material that's called rack, which can just collapse on you just like that, right? A school collapsed 5 years ago in Kent, and up till now they have only found another 69 schools that this material is in, but it could be in over 2,000 schools. And in 5 years they've only found 69, because you know why? They're just doing this and hoping that it don't drop down when all the kids are in there, because luckily the school in Kent actually fell down on the weekend. If it was on a weekday, then there would have been children under the rubble. Well, let's speak about some Brexit stories, right? Because I've just got a couple of headlines, actually. Several Tory MPs will vote with the DUP against Rishi Sunak's Brexit deal. But this is still going on. I thought that was done and dusted, right? From when Boris Johnson said, listen, all right, he's got an oven-ready deal. Well, it was done and dusted from then. Doesn't seem to have been. Ministers fear that Rishi Sunak has overpromised on his Brexit deal. What, that Brexit again? Seriously, you know what? There's been so much shit about this, right? It's just like, I'm kind of tired of talking about it. I like talking about it. But I'm kind of tired of talking about it because it's just, you just think, what the fuck has Britain done to itself? I'll tell you what Britain's done to itself. It's turned racist. No, it hasn't turned racist. It was always like this. They just made it even worse. Tory MPs have been accused. Tory MPs have accused Downing Street of acting fast and loose over the Brexit deal. And Downing Street says the Brexit deal will go ahead with or without the support of the DUP. And those are the people who don't understand politics. And that's why they went along with the Tories in the first place, only to get their ass completely sold out. What fools you people really are, the DUP. Seriously, the level of stupidity with you guys is high. Anyway, guys, look, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm just about a minute over. So, my friends, as I said, welcome to the Equinox. This, my friends, is by any means necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comment below.